In this video, we will be discussing 5 reasons why people struggle on keto. Some big mistakes that might sound obvious to some, but are hidden for a lot of people out there, and how to avoid these mistakes. This is a perfect video for anybody who's a keto beginner, or you've been doing keto for 3 weeks, a month, a year, weight loss has stalled, you hit a plateau, what's going on? Well, I'm going to uncover these 5 reasons, these 5 pitfalls, if you will, to why somebody stops getting results on keto. These are mistakes I see a lot of people make. And then, by the way, I have 2 bonus mistakes at the end. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to explain 4 reasons why staying in ketosis long-term, and I'll explain what that means, but 4 reasons staying in ketosis long-term is a bad idea, and actually how to practice keto flexing. I'm going to give you a 7-day protocol for that. So before I dive in, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ben Azadi. I am the founder of Keto Camp and the best-selling author of 3 books. Here at Keto Camp, we are on a mission to educate and to inspire 1 billion people on planet Earth. Let me know in the comment section down below where you are tuning in from. I'm here in beautiful Miami Beach, Florida. So let's get right into the presentation. 5 keto mistakes to avoid and the solutions. Here's what you're going to learn today. The best sweeteners on keto versus the worst ones out there. We're going to talk about the role toxins play with weight loss resistance. I'm going to give you some really cool tips here to really get things moving along. We're going to talk about how to overcome a keto weight loss stall. Why sleep is so important and why lack of sleep and too much stress actually prevents you from getting into ketosis and burning fat. Why you don't want to stay in ketosis for too long. And then at the end of the video here, I'm going to teach you how to practice keto flexing. So let's get right into this. The first mistake I see people make on keto, they're not replenishing their electrolytes. And maybe they are, but not as consistently as they should be. And here's why you want to be really diligent with replenishing your electrolytes and your minerals, especially for somebody new to keto. There's a process called electrolyte dumping. I wrote about it in my new book coming out called Keto Flex. And what happens is this: when you're eating high carbohydrates, the average American is eating about 300 grams of carbs per day. When you eat a lot of carbs, that causes big insulin spikes, which tells your body to store fat, but also store water. So you retain a lot of water when you're eating more carbs. When you start to do more keto, lower carb, and get into ketosis, what happens? Your body releases a lot of this excess water weight, which is terrific because you look lighter, you feel lighter, you're less bloated, you feel better. But here's the problem. What goes along with that excess water weight is this electrolyte dumping. The kidneys now are releasing these electrolytes and these minerals. And if you don't replenish those electrolytes and minerals, guess what happens? You get a headache, you get the keto flu, you don't feel good. And that's a big mistake. Not just for beginners on keto, but for those who are just struggling on keto right now. So I have put together a protocol called the Keto Camp Cocktail. And here's what I want you to do if you feel like this is a problem for you. Every single day, I want you to consume the following, all right? Take notes here. In the morning, when you wake up, have 16 ounces of quality water, followed, and in that water, have 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then you're also going to put 1 to 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, and then a pinch or 2 of some sea salt, high quality salt. So the cream of tartar has potassium, which is a very important electrolyte. The apple cider vinegar helps your liver. It also helps with glucose control. And then the sea salt is to get some more electrolytes and minerals. So drink this every single day. You could have it in the morning. You could have it 30 minutes before a meal. But be intentional with this and you're going to feel a lot better. And you could bypass the keto flu. By the way, the keto flu is technically not a keto issue. It's a carbohydrate issue. It's going through carbohydrate withdrawals. So you could add this Keto Camp cocktail into the mix and you'll feel much better. I also recommend consuming avocados. Awesome avocado. Here's why I love avocados on keto, not just for electrolytes, but also for other things. We know that avocados contain 2 times more potassium than a banana. Okay, that's a surprise to many people because people hear bananas and potassium. Bananas are loaded with sugar. Avocados are not. Also, avocados contain high amounts of vitamin B5, which really helps support the adrenal glands, which helps with stress. So I love avocados for that reason, but it's also high in phytosterols. Phytosterols helps your body reduce inflammation. And if you want to burn fat, if you want to feel good, if you want to live a long, healthy life, it's all about inflammation, my friend. So avocados are great. I would have about half a Hass avocado to one full Hass avocado every single day. You could either eat them with like eggs, put them in your smoothies, have them as a condiment, but avocados are going to be a great way to replenish your electrolytes and get some of those other benefits. Here's the second mistake people make on keto. They're not able to assimilate all the fats, and it leads to digestive issues. Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you ever experienced some stomach issues on keto, or are you currently experiencing some stomach issues on keto? I'm going to explain exactly why this happens. We have this beautiful liver, okay? It's a 4.5 pound organ that sits right here on the right side of your rib cage. And guess what? The liver is like the soccer mom organ. She does everything for us. She detoxes us. She helps produce bile. She is a master organ out there. And that poor liver, we beat her up over the years because the liver has to process alcohol, medication, carbohydrates, toxins. And when you have a sluggish liver, guess what happens on keto? You produce sluggish bile, B-I-L-E. And bile is beautiful. Write that down in your notes. Here's the job of bile. Bile is a green substance that your liver produces, and it helps to break down the fats you're eating on keto. It helps assimilate vitamins A, D, E, and K on keto. These are very important fats that help support the cell membrane, that structure, that bodyguard of your cells. Your cells love quality fats. But what happens if you have sluggish bile? You can't break down that fat. You can't assimilate that. So you're eating all these foods, you're taking all these supplements, but you're just not feeling good. That's because of sluggish bile. Bile also has a detoxification effect because toxins love fat, and a lot of toxins get bound to bile. So here's what I want you to do if you feel like this is a problem for you, as I'm rhyming here at Keto Camp HQ. Oh, that was good. Eat these bitters every single day. You always hear me talking about bitters. Bitter for the liver, okay? Write that down in your notes. Ginger tea is terrific, or ginger root, dandelion greens. Artichokes are great because it has fiber, which helps your body produce, it helps with butyrate and gut health, and also ketones. Organic coffee could be a bitter. Lemons and limes. Sprinkle lemons and limes over your proteins. Radishes and radicchios are also great. Cranberries are on the list. Just don't overdo it because it does have some sugar. Here are some cool things that help stimulate bile as well just by smelling them. The herbs, basil, thyme, and rosemary. You can just smell them before a meal to help get some stomach enzymes going. Cilantro and parsley, you can season your keto foods. And then apple cider vinegar is a keto powerhouse. I recommend all of you take about a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar 30 minutes before a meal, not just for the the bile effect, but also for the glycemic response. And then you could also supplement with an ox bile supplement if you want to go that route, especially if you don't have a gallbladder. That is a good idea. And if you don't have a gallbladder and you're wondering if you could do keto, it can be done. There are some special considerations. I have a video on my Keto Camp YouTube channel titled 5 Ways to Do Keto Without a Gallbladder. So you could watch that after this video. Here is the third mistake people make on keto. They eat the wrong fats. Not all fats are created equal, okay? Yes, you could eat a whole bunch of bad fats and get into ketosis, but does that mean you're healing your body? Does that mean you're reducing inflammation? No. And this is a pet peeve of mine, being in the keto space since the year 2013. I see a lot of people teach keto the wrong way. So let me explain to you why we want to avoid these bad fats. You might have seen me speak about this before, but let me ask you this question. I want you to answer in the chat box down below. What do you think the chances are of somebody developing lung cancer if they smoked 2 packs of cigarettes every single day for 28 years? What are their chances of developing lung cancer within those 28 years? Let me know in the chat box what you think that is. The answer is 16%, right? It might be lower than you initially thought. Now, the next question is this. What are the chances of developing any cancer and or heart disease for somebody who consumed these cooked vegetable oils every single day for 28 years? What are the chances of that person developing cancer within those 28 years? The answer will shock you. 86%. That's because these bad fats, I gave you a sneak peek there by accident, but these bad fats are rancid. They inflame the cell membrane, and life begins and ends at that cell membrane. So here's what happens. They gunk up these receptor sites that you have. You have 70 trillion cells in your body. Think about that. That's incredible. 70 trillion cells, and every cell has these receptor sites, 30,000 receptor sites on a single cell. And the receptor sites act as antenna signals. They're receiving signals from your hormones, your nutrients, and oxygen, and it allows your cells to produce ATP. It supports the mitochondria, helps you burn fat. But when there's inflammation around the membrane and these receptor sites, these integral membrane proteins, there's dysfunction and then symptoms start to occur. Vegetable oils create massive amounts of inflammation on those receptor sites. Research has shown that just consuming one plate of something fried in these vegetable oils could result in about 6 to 12 months of inflammation around the cells. So here's a list of the fats we want to avoid as much as possible on keto. Canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, peanut oil. Hope you're writing these down. Sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, fish oil, and rice bran oil. These are oxidized, bad, dirty fats. Instead, I want you to consume the following, which are more stable and healthier for the cells on the cell membrane. Avocado oil is terrific. Olive oils are terrific. Grass-fed butter, grass-fed ghee, duck fat, lard, coconut oil, MCT oil. I wouldn't cook with MCT oil, but it is a healthy fat. So these are much stable fats. And just by making this one switch, if you didn't do anything from this video, but made this one switch, it'll support you tremendously. You're going to notice results within days of just doing this. All right. Next here on the list is number 4 mistake. No detox protocol in place. And I'm going to explain why it's important to have some sort of a detox protocol as you lose weight. Before I do that, please let me know if you're getting any value from this video so far. And if you are, my friends here on YouTube and Facebook, please hit the thumbs up button on this video. And make sure you subscribe to the Keto Camp YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed already. We release 2, sometimes 3 brand new videos on the channel every single week. All right, here's why it's important to have a detox protocol in place. When you are starting to get into ketosis and burn fat, which is what we want to do, right? You're going to have this toxin release, because here's the deal. We live in the most toxic world ever before in the history of humankind. When you think about toxins, right, where do they come from? They come from car fumes, cleaning supplies, silver amalgam fillings, lead-based paint, vaccinations, etc. Toxins are everywhere. There's heavy metals, there's toxins. When toxins enter the body, whether we're eating it in our food supply, like pesticides and herbicides, or we're smelling it, or we have it in our mouth through silver amalgam fillings, when toxins enter the body, it activates a pathway called PPARY. So if you're writing notes, put that in your notes. The number one priority for the innate intelligence, the number one priority for the body is survival. So when toxins enter the body does not want those toxins to enter your vital organs and kill you. So it activates PPARY and starts shuttling these toxins where? Into your fat cells. So now you're burning fat on keto and intermittent fasting, you're losing weight, terrific. But what happens? Your body could burn fat, but it cannot burn toxins. So you get this toxic release and toxin release, and it leads the person to feel like crap. And they're wondering, why do I feel so bad? I'm losing weight, but I feel like crap. And then the weight loss stops, and the body stops the weight loss because it's trying to save its life. If it knows every time you lose weight, you dump all these toxins and you start to auto-intoxicate itself, the body wants to survive. So in order to save its own life, the body will slow down weight loss, and you could hit weight loss resistance. You could be doing everything right, keeping your carbs lower, doing more fasting. The body's trying to survive. So here are some things I want you to do for some downstream detox support. We always want to go upstream eventually, but that's a different conversation than the conversation we're having here. So here are some downstream detox tips. You could choose to do one or all of the items on here. You could, do a research or go on YouTube for other videos on this, but coffee enemas could be terrific. Just make sure you remineralize after doing it. Do that 1 to 2 times per week. PC push is terrific. It's a healthy fat that helps the liver dump some bile. I like a PC push, which is phosphatidylcholine. That's what PC stands for. I've been doing castor oil packs. It's a little pack that you put castor oil, you put it around your liver, go to bed with it. I've been doing that each night. Very easy thing to get some detox going. Liver cleanses and support, right? Taking some targeted liver support. If you go to ketocampsupplements.com, you could find my favorite liver support supplements. And also extended block fasting. So fasting 3 or more days could also have a downstream detox support. And I didn't put on there, but the lymphatic system, I should have put it on there. I just thought about it now. But supporting the lymph, right? The lymphatic system runs throughout your whole body. So doing some dry brushing, and there's a proper way to do it. Go check out Kelly Kennedy. She was on my Keto Camp podcast. We did a video on YouTube. She actually explains how to dry brush. You start up top and work your way down. Red light therapy also has an effect. The lymphatic system is important. When you move around, when you exercise, when you jump up and down, you activate the lymphatic system, which is a great way to support your downstream detox pathways. Okay, mistake number 5, and then I have 2 bonus mistakes for you. Mistake number 5 is this: not getting enough sleep. I know this is not a sexy topic, but here's the deal. Sleep is the Swiss Army knife of health. As a matter of fact, I think sleep is so important that in my new book, Keto Flex, that comes out on April 12th, I wrote an entire chapter just on sleep. And I went back and forth on whether or not I should include it because it's not relevant to keto per se, but then it is relevant to keto because if your sleep is not good, it doesn't matter how much keto you do or how much fasting you do. Sleep is foundational. And I'm going to get into some research here with you to really make the point and make my case for sleep. Getting 8 hours of quality sleep each night does this for you. During delta sleep, which is stage 4 deep sleep, your body activates your fat-burning hormones, T3, IGF-1, human growth hormone, glucagon, testosterone. So you're burning fat during sleep, not at the gym, by the way. And studies have shown poor sleep disrupts your metabolism. Check out this study on PubMed. Sleep curtailment decreased the fraction of weight loss as fat by 55% and increased the loss of fat-free body mass by 60%. This was accompanied by markers of enhanced neuroendocrine adaptation to caloric restriction, increased hunger, and a shift in relative substrate utilization towards oxidation of less fat. This study is saying poor sleep resulted in 55% less fat loss and fat burning. There's other studies on PubMed, on Scientific American, that show just one poor night of sleep, less than 7 hours, resulted in higher levels of cortisol the next morning, your stress hormone. Guess what follows cortisol? Glucose. Guess what follows glucose? Insulin. Guess what drops? Ketones. So yes, you can be knocked out of ketosis. So if you're struggling with ketones and glucose fluctuations, it's probably your sleep. And that same study on Scientific American showed higher levels of ghrelin the next morning, your hunger hormone, and lower levels of leptin, your satiety hormone. So lack of sleep just wipes out your willpower. You make poor decisions, you burn less fat. So let's talk a little bit about some practical ways for you to get better sleep starting tonight. There are 3 ways to get better sleep starting tonight. You ready for it? Number 1, have a nighttime routine. It's so important to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time and be consistent with that Monday through Sunday. Set your room thermostat, bedroom, to about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. That's where the studies show you get good deep delta sleep where you activate those fat burning hormones. And during delta sleep, your brain literally shrinks in size and you have your cerebral spinal fluid that flushes over the brain that starts flushing out toxins, kind of like a dishwasher fluid. That happens during deep sleep, and you could accomplish that with a cold, dark bedroom. Make it as dark as possible. Number 2 tip is to take a hot, warm shower about 60 minutes before bed. When you get out of that shower and walk into a cold bedroom, your body's going to cool itself, which has a calming effect that could help you with sleep. And the final tip here for getting better sleep tonight is to drink banana tea. Yes, this is keto friendly. I know I was bashing bananas a little bit earlier, but banana tea is keto friendly, and here's how you do it. You grab a whole banana. You want to leave the peel on that banana, but cut off the ends. Make sure it's organic. The peel of bananas has more micronutrients like potassium and magnesium and others, more micronutrients than the banana itself. So what you want to do is you want to boil that banana with the peel on and with water and until the peel starts to turn brown. What's going to happen is these micronutrients are going to start seeping out into the water. And then you want to just drink that banana tea, put the banana in the freezer or discard it or give it to somebody in your family not doing keto. But drink that banana tea, and it's like nature's NyQuil. I learned about this from my colleague, Dr. Michael Bruce, America's sleep doctor, and it could be a great way to get some better sleep starting tonight. Wendy says banana tea works. I love it. All right, those are 3 ways to get better sleep starting tonight. Now I have 2 bonus tips for you. We're going to get into sweeteners on keto and then why we don't want to stay in ketosis long term and how to practice keto flexing. Before I get into that, please hit the thumbs up button here on YouTube if you haven't done so already. And subscribe to the Keto Camp YouTube channel if you're not subscribed yet. I see Alina from the Keto Camp team in the house. I see Michelle, Janice, Minerva, Shannon, Emmanuel. Good to see all of you. I'm going to get to some questions a little bit later. So let's get through this presentation first. All right, here's the not biggest mistake, but a bonus mistake. Consuming the wrong sweeteners. And look, if you're consuming the wrong sweeteners and you're doing a lot of the mistakes I've mentioned, it's okay. Forgive yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's fine. I just want to give you some clarity because once you have awareness, then you can take action. Remember, it's never about the setback. It's always about the get back. All right, here we go. Here are the following sweeteners that we want to avoid on keto. Avoid these as much as possible. Xylitol, maltitol, sorbitol, mannitol, aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and isosulfone potassium. Now, there's 2 on this list that are the most deadly, I would say, the most dangerous. That's going to be sucralose and aspartame. Check out these interesting studies. A human study that was looking at Splenda, which is sucralose, from the pharmacokinetics of sucralose. It wanted to study the pharmacokinetics of sucralose, meaning how it moves through your body, the system. They only accounted for 96.7% of it. The other 3.3% was untraceable. Now, the questions to ask are, is it turning into an unusual metabolite or is it bioaccumulating in the body somewhere? Those are questions that I feel uncomfortable asking. So we don't know what those 3.3% is leading to, and that's not a good thing. This other study on PubMed showed sucralose raised glucose and insulin in 17 obese women. Now, that doesn't happen with everybody, but it could be happening to you. It could be insulinogenic to some people. These 5 studies on PubMed and Science Direct show that Splenda may cause weight gain, not good. Splenda affects the gut bacteria negatively, not good. And also cooking with Splenda is super dangerous. So if you're making like these keto brownies and keto fat bombs, etc., with Splenda, that could be an issue. We don't want to heat it for sure. So instead of using those artificial sweeteners, here are approved sweeteners on keto. I have an entire list and I go a little bit deeper in my new book coming out, but monk fruit is good, pure stevia is good, and erythritol. Even with those, we don't want to consume too much of it. We want to have those in moderation. These are much safer for the body. All right, let's talk about the final mistake here, which is the bonus one. And this is one I see so often, staying in ketosis for too long. So let me explain what I mean by too long. In my new book coming out called Keto Flex, which you could pre-order this today over at ketoflexbook.com. It's available on Kindle right now for pre-order, and then it will be available on paperback April 12th. I'll put the banner down below for you so you can see that. I talk about, there's a 4-pillar approach in this book. It's going to help you reduce inflammation, burn fat, and reboot your metabolism. Dr. Pompa wrote the foreword. As you can see, there's a lot of praise for the book. Thomas DeLauer, Dr. Jason Fung, Ben Bickman, Mindy Peltz. And there's so much more endorsements from this book from Simland, Abel James, Maria Emmerich, Megan Ramos, Drew Manning, Cynthia Thurlow, Kay Shanahan, Ryan Lowry, Jimmy Moore, David Jockers. There's so much praise for this book. I believe this is going to be the greatest keto book ever written. So ketoflexbook.com to get the pre-order on Kindle. April 12th is the official date. But the reason I say all this is because in the book, I have my 4-pillar approach. And what I teach is for 60 days, 60, we are doing keto, we're doing intermittent fasting strategies, some carnivore strategies, and then we flex out of ketosis. So to answer your question, 60 days is the sweet spot for most people to start flexing out of ketosis. So let's get into this right now. Here's the 4 reasons why we don't want to stay in ketosis long term. Number 1, fat burning actually slows down when you're in ketosis for too long. I said it earlier, the number 1 priority for the innate intelligence is survival. So if you've only been burning fat as your only fuel source and not glucose from time to time, the body's going to slow down its precious fuel source. Here's the analogy. It's like, picture yourself in the cabins, at a cabin in the woods during the summer. So you're storing some firewood during the summer at your cabin to get ready for the cold winter month that is approaching, cold winter months that is approaching in a few months. So let's say winter rolls around now and you stored about 20 logs of firewood for about 4 months of cold weather. What are you going to do? You're going to burn that firewood as slowly as possible to get through the cold winter months. That's exactly what's happening when you're in ketosis for too long. Your body slows down its precious fuel source because it wants to survive. But when you have what I call a keto flex day, again, you don't do this in the beginning, you do this after 60 days. That's like your buddy coming over and dumping a whole bunch of firewood at your doorstep, 200 logs of firewood. Now, instead of having 20 logs of firewood, you have 200. What are you going to do? You're going to be more motivated and inspired to start ramping up the burning. That's what a keto flex day does. It reminds the body it's not starving. It actually ramps up the fat burning. That's the first reason why we don't want to stay in it too long. The second reason is thyroid problems. Let me ask you this question. Did you know that every cell in the body has a receptor site for the thyroid hormone T3? T3 is a fat-burning hormone. It's a longevity hormone. It is the active form of the thyroid hormone. The inactive form of thyroid is T4. Do you know what helps make that conversion from T4 to T3? Insulin. So what I've seen is chronically low levels of insulin actually start to, this conversion doesn't happen as efficiently. So having a keto flex day actually gets you a healthy spike of glucose and insulin, and it helps support the thyroid and make this conversion. That's the second reason why. So this is especially true for women out there. The third reason why we don't want to stay in ketosis for too long term, is I've seen wonky SHBG. What that stands for is sex hormone binding globulin. When you have too much SHBG, it takes testosterone and it renders it inactive. Not good for both men and women. So I've seen high and low. I've seen wonky SHBG with too much ketosis. The fourth reason why we don't want to stay in ketosis long term is because of something called leptin resistance. Now, leptin is the hormone that your brain produces that tells you you're full, stop eating. When you start to do keto, let me rewind real quick. When you're not doing keto and you're eating a standard American diet, eating high carbs, you have leptin resistance because your body just wants more food, leading to cravings. And when you do keto, now your leptin becomes more sensitive, which is great. But then I've seen the opposite. When you stick with it for too long, it actually creates another problem, which is leptin resistance, but in a different way. So by having a keto flex day, it kind of reminds the body again that it's not starving, and it activates those leptin receptor sites, and it helps you become more sensitive again. So those are the 4 main problems. There's some others that I go into in the book, but here is the deal. The magic lies with keto flexing. Okay? In the book, I teach several ways of practicing keto flexing. I'm going to teach you one method shortly, but the book has it all for you. 311 pages of keto gold. This right here is going to be one of the best books on the topic of keto. I talk about keto, fasting. I talk about carnivore, keto flexing, sleep, and ladies out there, there is an entire chapter written on keto and fasting for women. And that is chapter 12. Keto and fasting for women. I talk about how the cycling women should do keto and fasting. I give you a week-by-week breakdown, and then how the perimenopausal and postmenopausal women should do keto. In the back of the book, there is 21 delicious fat-burning keto recipes and my keto blueprint, where I give you a shopping list and I give you some advanced ways to test ketones and glucose and all that, how to test. So if you want to pre-order this book, go to ketoflexbook.com to get the Kindle pre-ordered. And then on April 12th, you'll be able to get the paperback. But the magic is in the variation. So let's talk about a strategy that I talk about in my book on keto. Let me bring this screen back up. Here we go. So the 5-1-1 rule. This is a great way to practice keto flexing. It's a 7-day protocol. I recommend you do this after 60 days of strict ketosis. And here's how it works. I hope you're taking notes. After it's a 7-day protocol. So 5 days out of the week, you're in ketosis. You're eating keto-friendly meals and you're following your favorite intermittent fasting schedule. That's the 5. The 1 is a 24-hour water fast. I love a 24-hour water fast, which is just dinner to dinner or lunch to lunch. I love that because you get more autophagy, the cellular repair and cleanup. You get more fat loss, and it helps. Some studies from MIT, I wrote about it in my book, show that a 24-hour water fast helps to reboot and strengthen intestinal stem cells. So it's great for somebody who has autoimmune or digestive issues. So that's the 1, 24-hour fast. The final one is a keto flex day. No fasting on that day. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have about 100 to 150 grams of carbohydrates and protein, and then you cut your fat, you just reduce it. And that's the flex day to actually flex out of ketosis, flex your keto muscle. And then if you've done this the right way and you followed all the protocols in the book, you should be able to get right back into ketosis within 48 hours, maybe even sooner. And you get all the benefits and none of the drawbacks. If you think about it this way, every single one of our ancestors did keto because keto is not a diet. Keto is a metabolic process, and it's been around since humans have existed. On that same token, every single one of our ancestors got out of ketosis when they had the opportunity. There's not one culture in the history of this world that stuck with the same diet long term. So we are mimicking our ancestors by practicing keto flexing. So I'm going to answer some questions. Before I do, I'd love to connect with you on social media. As you can see, here are my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, the Ben Azadi. I'm on Clubhouse every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Cynthia Thurlow and myself, we host a Clubhouse room. We're going to be talking about sleep this Monday, but if you're on Clubhouse, shoot me a follow at the Ben Azadi. So let's get to your questions. I want to know as well, what was your biggest takeaway from today's live stream? And then I want to see some of your questions. I see a whole bunch of comments. I'll get to your questions right now. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up button on this video as of yet, please hit it here on YouTube. All right. Can I take a supplement? Salt makes me gag. Absolutely, Cordy. You could take a electrolyte supplement or a mineral supplement. That's totally fine. Should we count calories on keto flex day? No, you don't have to count calories. Eat until full. The only thing I want you to count on that day is having at least 100 grams of total carbs. Wow, I love the 5-1-1 idea. Gonna give that a try to change things up. Awesome, Jack's mom. Let me know how it works for you. In the book, Keto Flex, I also have a 4-2-1 rule, a 3-3-1 rule, and a 6-1 rule. So it'll depend on how much extra weight you want to lose. But the 5-1-1 rule is a good protocol, but the book outlines a lot more. The Inuits eat fish and meat only the whole time, which means they didn't end up in ketosis. They were in ketosis, yes. Yes, you can get a free Kindle reader for your computer or any device. Correct, Nurse Wendy. Thank you so much. Good to see you on here. The book, let's see, questions. Looking forward to getting the book. Thank you all so much. Recommended supplement for detox. Cordy, I like the fasting trio. The fasting trio, if you go to ketocampsupplements.com, it's a great trifecta. How much cream of tartar? You put about 1 to 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar in that Keto Camp cocktail. Do you recommend turmeric water during fasting? Does it break a fast? I don't really recommend antioxidants during a fast. I love turmeric, and turmeric water sounds great. But here's why I don't recommend taking any antioxidants during a fast, and turmeric is an antioxidant, because it actually could shut down some of your body's capabilities of dealing with fasting. Fasting is a stressor, and it upregulates antioxidant pathways. So if you take an antioxidant, it could actually, the body won't upregulate those pathways. So I'm not a big fan of taking antioxidants during a fast or even around exercise. Take it with your meals. How long can you keep the banana tea in the fridge? It's a good question. I would guess I would hypothesize a couple days. Maybe you can make a batch. Maybe you could test it out to see if it's effective after 3 days. Shannon, thank you so much. Does banana tea break a water fast or intermittent fast? No, it does not. It does not have a glucose response. What about kidney cleanse or support? Liver is always mentioned. Yeah, so the kidney, I would take some targeted support. Systemic Formulas has some great kidney supplements. If you go to ketocampsupplements.com and type in kidney, you could see some great kidney support there. Wow, you explained it so well. Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks, Jose. Fish oil is not healthy. There are a lot of problems with fish oil. I didn't go too much into the research on this video, but 83% or so of fish oil is already rancid before you consume it. Fish oil, a lot of people are mega dosing with fish oil. The body's cool and the body's warm, fish oil needs to be cool. And it actually, when it mixes with stomach acid, it can actually turn it rancid and it steals antioxidants away from you. Binders at night are terrific, Becky. Great point. I use Bind at night. That's the best time to take binders, before bed, because the liver is very active during the middle of the night and it's dumping bile. So if you take a strong binder like Systemic Formulas Bind, it sits in the gut and acts like a catcher's mitt to catch those toxins. Coconut oil is great, Scott. I love it. I'm going to do a video soon on the best oils to cook with, so stay tuned for that. Would drinking the morning Keto Camp cocktail break your fast? Yes, it would, Lois. So you could have it. You don't have to have it in the morning. Have it 30 minutes before you break the fast. I have a fatty liver. Can that produce a stall? Yeah, Amy, it can. But I have a video, Amy, on my Keto Camp YouTube channel here on how to reverse fatty liver. So watch that and you'll see more about it. Do you use activated charcoal? I do. I use it. It's in Systemic Formulas Bind, but there's also some stronger binders in there with it. It's a synergistic blend. You're welcome, Miss Lena Moon, excuse me. Let's see. There's some questions on. Can you take milk thistle on keto? Yes, Bonnie, absolutely. Milk thistle is a great way to support the liver. Milk thistle tea sounds great to me. Recipes in book plan, new here. Yeah, Artie, in this book, Keto Flex, which comes out April 12th, you can pre-order at ketoflexbook.com. There's 21 recipes. There's also a blueprint for you to follow and go grocery shopping as well. What about adding in longer fast and keto flexing? Terrific, you can do that. Look, it's all about change and adaptation. So I love longer fast, 3 or more days, terrific. Now, if you're a woman and you have a monthly cycle, I explained this in the book. The best time to do a longer fast and to do more fasting and strict ketosis is right after the monthly cycle. So that first week, the bleed week, Dr. Stephanie Estima calls it, that's the best time for that. Ben, while on carnivores, is it safe to have too much protein because of too much mTOR and accelerating the aging process? So Bernie, great question. We don't want to have too much protein all the time, but in spurts, mTOR could be super healing. On my YouTube channel, I have a video called 5 Reasons Why More Protein on Keto is Better. And I explain a little bit more about that. So we do want to cycle protein. We don't want to have protein all day long. So if you combine carnivore with fasting, that's the perfect balance. That's what I did. I just finished up 35 days of carnivore a couple days ago. If you're type 2 diabetic, you want to work with your doctor, but I explained this. You could have a flex day with more protein and less fasting. The goal is just to get more mTOR that day. If you don't have a thyroid, work with your doctor. There's a colleague of mine, Dr. Rebecca Warren, who could help you with that. She doesn't have a thyroid, and she's still able to use fasting and keto, and she's seen some great things. Yeah, Marie, watch the replay for sure. Sharon says, wow, I had no idea those oils were so deadly. Holy cow, thank goodness I haven't used those oils since my keto lifestyle changed 4 years ago. Awesome job, Sharon. That's amazing. Great work. I've lost 40 pounds since November. I'm now installed. So anxious to hear this. Well, great job with the 40 pounds. And I hope the 5 tips really helped you. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button on the video yet, please do so. Every Wednesday, I am live with you here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitch. So make sure you put it in your calendar. We don't miss a Wednesday. We haven't missed one in I think about 2 years now. So every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, join me. I hope this was super helpful. And I'll get to some more questions next week. So save your questions for me. Please share this video on your Facebook feed, on your texts to a friend. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to sign off here. I would love your support with pre-ordering this book, ketoflexbook.com. April 12th is the date. This is going to be one of the best books on keto. All right. Have an amazing day. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll talk to you all soon.